Oil is the platform on which everything was built in Venezuela. The industry has powered the economy, financed governments, and provided the country with the world's cheapest petrol. It will cost you 1 cent to fill up a tank. That's cheaper than water. But now the country's supply may be at risk.
Venezuelans had already been struggling with crippling shortages of food and medicine. And over the past few months, several gas stations ran out of petrol. So people here found themselves queuing for the only thing Venezuela was supposed to have left: fuel.
According to the former Venezuelan deputy energy minister, the country, with the world's largest oil reserves, can no longer satisfy its own demand.
We are importing circa 100,000 barrels per day of motor gasoline. On top of it, it is estimated that we are importing circa 200,000 barrels per day of crude oils, mostly Nigerian and Algerian.
Venezuela's oil has been both a blessing and a curse. The country's economy now depends exclusively on oil. The opposition says the government is to blame for miscalculating demand and counting on an endless rise in oil prices.
Well, 97% of all the foreign exchange income comes from the oil industry. So it's extremely important for us, the oil revenues.
That is also because you don't really produce anything else, right?
Well, we used to, but we are not producing very little else. Before, we used to produce many things, but for the last 17 years, we had a very populist government, and this government was very, very interested in the rent, in incomes from the oil sector. But besides that, what they were using is nationalizing everything else. So that's why we produce almost anything else right now.
One might not be able to see it, but Venezuela will need to be completely rebuilt. Its infrastructure, including water distribution and the electricity grid, have been compromised by years of neglect. And with the world increasingly looking for and investing in alternative sources of energy, Venezuela might not be able to count on its black gold to power its future. Anelise Borges, TRT World, Caracas.